Chris has been on the internet and harping on about chocolate concrete. It's a recipe that looks, as far as I can ascertain, like an overworked shortbread, but chocolate flavoured. So I found a recipe online and I'm going to give it a go. It looks quite simple. He's just said to me, I haven't been harping on about it at all.
No, I have not.
Apparently.
I've just mentioned it
Apparently.
once or twice this year. It's only the 12th.
You should see his face.
Well, no, we've also had discussions with other people. Sharon remembers it fondly. Sharon from Think Alive, she remembers it fondly.
I know.
In fact, I'm going to message her in a minute and tell you you're making it.
So, I found a recipe online. I'm going to try and make it. Looks quite simple. Most of the recipes look about the same. We'll give it a go. So, all the recipes I found, or sort of most of the recipes I found, there were 3 or 4 that were very, very similar to this. This is one I've picked. I've got 300 grams of plain flour. Nothing special done to it. 300 grams of granulated sugar. Nothing special done to it. And 60 grams of cocoa powder. All those dry ingredients just mixed together so that there weren't any particularly big lumps of anything. The cocoa powder that I get here is delicious, but it is a little bit lumpy. So mix all those dried ingredients together and then add 150 grams of, it says salted butter, ours is unsalted, so I am going to add a pinch of salt. Don't know.
Yeah, don't forget our super salt here.
Yes.
A pinch in most people's worlds is sort of like is nothing compared to that, is it?
No. That's all pretty much amalgamated. Oh, there's a bit more white. It ought to be the same colour. There we go. Make a well in the middle, and I'm going to add my melted butter. Amalgamate that until you've got something that is ready to be squashed into a tin. If that isn't enough liquid, all the recipes say use water. You're trying to make this as short as possible when it's cooked, so that it's really, really hard when it's been cooked and dried.
Yes, and for anybody who's not from the UK who doesn't know about chocolate concrete and its wonderfulness, when we was children at school, it was so hard, you used to have a fork and a spoon, and what you did was you stick the fork into it best you could and hammer the fork in with your spoon to try and break it up. Bear in mind, was only kids and was playing, but it is supposed to be that hard, hence the name concrete.
Pop this into, I've lined a baking tray. I find it much easier than buttering and flouring and all the rest of it, and easier to then definitely take something out. I'm going to press that in, make it relatively neat. The recipe says 160 degrees for a fan oven for about 20 minutes, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, time to take it out the oven. Oh, Judy's out the bottle. I'm all steamed up, I can't see anything.
Oh, it's risen.
Oh, it's risen.
Must be happy to see you.
Whilst the oven's warm, I'm just going to dry some orange peel from an orange I ate earlier. Let's dehydrate that. Now the instructions say to leave it in the tin to dry. Cool, I apologise. But also to cut it now, because apparently it will go really, really hard. And you won't be able to cut it later.
No, that's right.
We'll see. Okay, well, we'll cut it. As recommended. Ow, it's hot.
I wonder why it's hot. Is that potentially where it's come from? A hot place?
Could be something to do with the place it's come from, yes. Taking them out. Let them cool down. Chris is very excited. Can you hear that? Microphone is getting it, and you can see it's me.
Chocolate concrete.
I don't dare eat it in case it breaks a tooth.
A really big tea tonight as well, with the pie and mash and mushy peas.
I know, but you're going to have to try a mouthful just to see if you like it or not. No, dogs. You can't have it. It's chocolate. Go away.
We had a really big tea, pie and mash and mushy peas. So I'm really stuffed. But apparently I've got to try it. I'm too stuffed to eat it properly, but it's definitely concreted. So a little bit of it comes everywhere. Right, I'll have a little try of a bit. Not with custard, like you're supposed to eat it.
Does it taste right?
Yes.
What's
It's very crunchy, like it's supposed to be. Brilliant. That takes me back to school time. It's such a shame I was so full because I could really eat a big chunk of it in my head, but my body's saying no. Right, we've got to put these in a cake in a tub. Yeah, they need custard. So, first job on the list is want to move all these blocks, move them out of the way to expose the white pipe and then dig it out. I'm just waiting for the sun to come round a bit more. It's lovely in the sun, but really cold in the shade. And it's not going to be a big job, so I'm going to wait for the sun to come round. There's no point in being cold. I started doing that work for the tubing like I said I was going to do, and then Lillian came back and said, have you got the outer tubing that you want to put on? And I went, yes. She said, are you sure? I said, yes. She said, go and check. And I came back and I went, no. The size that I thought we'd need, we had. The size that we actually need, we don't.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem. We'll pop down and Builders Merchant in the morning and get some. You've got to go there tomorrow anyway because you've got another thing to do.
Yes. And helping somebody locally here with his customer is English or speaks English, so I'm just going to go be there in case I get stuck for any wording.
Yeah.
I'm just helping out.
That was Geordie, who you've seen in our previous videos, or one of our previous videos.
Yeah. So what I found out at the town hall was to get permissions for doing this patio is no problem.
Yeah.
So we call it permissions. It's actually a license. It's a license to be able to do the works. And I spoke to the lady and it's definitely minor works. You have two things that happen here. It's either major works or minor works. Major works usually involves foundations, floors, that sort of thing. Concreting is why we weren't sure on this.
Yeah.
But because this is already here and we're repairing it or replacing it where necessary, it's minor works. And the only difference between one and the other is the amount of tax, the amount that the actual license costs. We call it a tax, which is why I keep stuttering with my words. But basically, you're buying a license permission to be able to do work. And thankfully, this is going to be minor, so it'll be less expensive. And it's not a problem. It'll just get carte blanche passed. I also double checked. I think you've said about the possibility of a container. The lady who sits at the desk, who does about all the licenses and the land and all the rest of it, she said, no, you're not allowed. She said, come next week. She told me which day our technical architect for the town is in and get it in writing from him, then you're covered.
That's right.
She doesn't think it's allowed, even though they say and they say and they say and somebody else has said and somebody down the bar has said, I'm not taking the risk.
No. It was allegedly because we have no external storage and some other people are in the same position as us. So that's that. You often see around, when you drive around Spain, little tiny huts in the middle of nowhere, little tiny casitas, and they are literally for storing tools and such like. Some people seem to think that if they buy one they might be able to live in it. Well, you can, but then you run the risk of losing a lot of money when you get caught.
Exactly.
They are not for living in. You're not allowed to even sleep in them apart from siesta time. Literally tool store and somewhere to shade from the heat of the sun in the day, eat and drink, and that's it. No overnight staying. So that's the kind of thing we're after, as in the container, so we can have it here for one, putting the motorbikes in, but also cement mixer and all the other tools and building equipment that we've got. So a number of days ago, nearly a week now I think, Lillian went to the baker's in town and asked for some bread, some day old bread. And she was given some. Well, not actually given some, she bought it. But the baker uses a wood-fired oven, so all his bread is cooked in this wood-fired oven. Now it's taken a lot more time than we expected for this bread to go hard, because I want to make breadcrumbs, and oh yeah, it's hard now. So I want to make breadcrumbs. I was going to use the food processor, but I decided to do it this way instead. So let's see how good this is made for a start versus bread, and how well it breaks up. I don't think it's going to contain any more. Luckily, that was the last of it. And now I'll run it through the food processor. I think if I'd left it as big pieces, it wouldn't have gone in our food processor anyway.
Yeah.
Right, we've got the old FP out. And all I'm going to do is the big bits first, so I can grade down what I want for which job. Alright, so we've got the grater attachment now. The other side's got a slicer bit. I'm hoping that this will do the job better than the blade. Well, it was quicker. Okay, still not as good as I want. It's still too fine, but that's obviously the nature of the beast. I'll try it this way up. This doesn't come with a bigger grater thing, does it?
No.
Either that, I'm just going to have to find something else to smash the bread up with. Oh, that's better, I think. It's a bit hard to tell, but I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep on with that and see how it goes. Okay, so that's it all done. That's a fair bit. The bread has cost us €2 to buy the bread, because it was day old bread and the baker sells it off at half price, and there was 4 battens. And it's normally €1 a batten, so that's fair. I've got all that. So next, we'll be bagging it up and putting it to one side. Going to use it again for making more sausage meat. We're going to use it for doing some Scotch eggs in the future, and also some stuffing. I love stuffing. Lillian isn't so keen, even though she does like it. So I'm going to show you how I make stuffing. Not sure which one we're going to do actually. Sage and onion is the normal UK go-to, but I think I'm going to do something different.
Well, I've had an interesting morning. I checked my bank statement, as I regularly do, and saw there were some small transactions for whole amounts, €3, €5. Went, I don't know what these are. Rang the bank, and I've always used my card here in Spain to pay for things, thinking it's like the UK, that if a transaction that you actually didn't present your card for, you'd get your money back. It doesn't work like that. The guy on the phone at the bank said there's such small amounts, it's not worth going to the police to do a denuncia and then to claim it back through the courts. He said just write it off, but we'll block your card and send you a new one. So be careful, guys. What actually happened was I used an ATM the other day. For the first time in maybe 6 months, I always pay everything with card. I hardly ever have any cash on me. And I used an ATM, and obviously my card was cloned. Be very, very careful. Check your bank statements regularly, because if, like me, okay, it's only worked out to be about €20 worth in small amounts, but you don't get it back.
Yes, and they'll do that in small, tiny amounts in the hope that you don't notice it. Same as the dogs didn't notice that gecko, thankfully. I've just moved the blocks away from the wall.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just rescue said little gecko and
I am.
get it out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'll just get all this lot taken apart before starting to grind a slot in the wall there, and then grind away some of this. If it doesn't matter if it's more or less level with the surface now, although it's not higher, because this is all going to be resorted out, so there's not a lot of point in burying it and then burying it even more.
Yep.
Because this has all got to either come away and be redone, or we're going to use this as a base and then build from it.
Yep.
Depending on what we're going to do. Because we originally was thinking about concreting it, and then realised that our concreting skills aren't quite as good as
we'd like to think they
we'd like to think they are over such a large area. So we may just buy loads of outdoor slabs and just slab over the top. Oops, accidents happen. Okay, that's not as armoured as it could have been actually. What happens was, Dover, being his normal self, was barking his head off a mosquito that landed in Madrid somewhere. And it just drives us insane. So Lillian got the dogs in, so it wasn't all barking and shouting going on. And as we normally do, we just closed the door, forgetting that the cable was out the door. So it got trapped and sliced. So, okay, I'll put it back a few minutes. I'll get it fixed and we're good to go again. Happens.
I'm devastated. I'm having a day of it. It's serious stuff. He's brought his intelligent glasses.
Yeah. Any opportunity to be intelligent. Right. Okay. Not work now.
You can see where I caught it with the door, just there. It broke the inner sheathing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so I changed plug. Now, people from the UK, you'll know that the UK actually has some of the safest plugs in the world, unless they're not stuck in the wall and they're upside down, which normally end up being when you tread on them.
Good point, well made.
Yeah, they are lethal then. Think Lego's bad enough? No way. Lego's a tickle. Anyway, in the UK, when we wire plugs up, we have the earth, ground, and we have the neutral, and we have the live. Now, yeah, the neutral goes to the neutral prong, and the live goes to the live prong, obviously, but there's a fuse in between. This is for people who are not from the UK who don't know. But here, there is a way of, you do it the same way, but there's no fuse. And because of the way the electricity works, it doesn't actually matter which way round they go into the socket, but it's always good practice to make sure you do them the correct way round. You see lots of people who have come over to Spain, and I'm sure in other places in Europe as well, or locally to us, are saying I've got a UK washing machine, I've recently moved over, I've got a UK this appliance and UK that appliance. What do I do? And some people say, oh, it's all right, just use a converter, like your little travel converters. Don't do that. They're not rated for that kind of wattage, and you'll break them cause a fire, all sorts of things. Just go down Chinese shop or the big box stores and get some of these and just change them. It's easy enough to do. It doesn't take any longer than doing a normal UK plug. Right, it's done. It would have been better if I'd have cut the earth cable a little bit shorter, but unfortunately the way these are laid out, it would make it impossible. I wouldn't have enough room. So, oh, I'm guessing another mosquito's landed somewhere, maybe Seville this time. And this just drives us mad with him. But it's, Spanish people say, don't worry about it, he's doing his job. And such like. Which I guess he is, but it's the neighbours and he knows who they are. Which makes it more annoying. Right.
Where were we? I'm so sorry. Thank you for fixing it. I'll go find you a mask.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it happens. Accidents happen. Don't they?
Do. I don't believe this. I do not believe this. I've just got up to go and get Chris a mask, and I went to pick up the old bit of electricity to put into the recycling bin here. And he's put the new plug on the waste bit, not on. Can I show that in? There you go. It's got a new plug on it. This is the extension cable with no plug on it.
I'm going to give up for today, I think.
I think it might be sensible.
I don't believe it. I really just don't believe it. Oh well, we'll call that on a practice run. It's been a long time since I did one.
I've got no words. Welcome to my day.
Well, it's not just yours, is it?
No, I know. Plug is now on
Yeah.
the long bit.
Yes.
So I'll go and plug it in.
Yes, please. We'll see what happens. So, my glasses didn't work first time round. Hopefully they will this time, or they have this time. I've got a grinder plugged in, so give it a try. If
You're standing on it and I can't pull it.
no, it's trapped. There you go, you got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit shorter than it was. Originally it was 25 metres. I think it's about 23 now. Right, so I'm just waiting for Lillian to shout that she's done it.
Get inside.
Oh, the dogs are at it again. Or getting ready to get at it again. Is it turned on now?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you say it's ready to use.
Sorry.
I'm just
It's
stood
ready
here.
to use.
I just stood here like a spare part. Right, did it work? Excellent.
Starting to look something like now that you can actually get underneath the bits.
Yes.
It's coming away, but again, it's still just crazy thickness. I've never seen them bits of patio this thick. When we had work done down in the patio down by the caves,
It wasn't this thick.
it wasn't this thick. It was just that.
But they just used whatever they had.
Yeah,
That's the whole
exactly.
point.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. We'll carry on with this.
Loki just came up to me and said, did a twisty ear thing. What's that noise, that machine? Loki, are you a good boy? You want the first?
He is a good boy. He's the only one who doesn't bark anymore. Only because he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. As far as he's concerned, we got him machines that did it for him.
Yes, why have a dog and bark yourself?
100%. Somebody got told off again for shouting, look where she's gone. I'm under here, I can't get into trouble. You still manage it though, don't you? You're a
Yes.
big bag of trouble. Good girl. You're a good girl. So we're back the next day. We left this like this overnight. That was where Chris dug it out. And he's now on the other side of the gate. I can't decide if the dogs and I are the ones at the zoo or you're the one at the zoo because the gate between us.
Well, you're watching me, so there you go. I'm just going to try and break it all out first because we're having a little bit of a conversation at the moment because that goes uphill.
Yeah, if I try and get down and get dogs out of the way. Dogs, mind. Go on, go away. Go away. I can't see through you. You make a wonderful door. So the land over here is relatively flat.
And
it goes up towards Chris's feet that way, but it really goes up over there.
Yeah, I think that's because a lot of this is made up ground from when the caves were dug, apparently. And as you can see, it slopes that way. We've had this levelled and it slopes that way, and that's a barrier. So what I think has happened over time is this has sunk. Weight of the building, the rock building and everything else like that, it's just sunk. So that's why it's done that. Obviously we've got to fix that, but I don't want to take all this lot away. But I think at some point in time when we're repaving it, this may have to be taken away.
So obviously that all needs tidying up. Chris has gone all the way to here. He's now reached under this gate post.
That's how crumbly the soil is underneath it. Right, does that work?
It does.
The question is, does it work for the pipe that's got to go in there?
Ah, well, there's only one way to test.
And that's to get the pipe that's going to go in there.
Yeah, and try it. Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
Well done.
Right, so you saw us digging out. We've just gone through the process of working out how this is going to work. So this is how we're doing it. Unfortunately, there's a joiner for the white pipe, and the connector that goes into the white pipe is too big for this grey. So luckily we had this in stock. We're actually going to end up having to replace it when we do the fish tank.
Okay, is that where it's from?
That's what it's for, yeah. So we've done that. It goes round. I still need to drag that away a little bit. And I'm just going to put this in, that pipe into here, and that just sits over the top of that one. Again, just temporary until we get this all sorted, but it just makes it look a little bit neater.
The other side of the other view.
Yeah.
The view from the other side.
Yes. So it's all done. There's a load of grass there. I thought I'd just pull that out of the way, and it came up. Brilliant. It just pulled straight up. That is fantastic. And I'm camouflaging our rubbish dump. So what needs to happen is we need to get some more of this white pipe. You can see as the joiner there. So this is only temporary. We're hoping, if we're allowed, that this area may have a container one day. So anyway, it's too short to get back to the IBC. So Lillian's going to order some more, which should hopefully be here tomorrow. And then what we'll do is we'll just take it all apart again. So we only have one joiner and we have plenty. So, right. So the plan to cement this up is next. So I'll make some cement and cement that up.
Yes. But not if you're going to only have one joiner.
Yes, because the joiner's over there.
But you're going to about to cement it in. So we can't take it out tomorrow to replace, to then have just from that joiner, one piece all that way.
You're right.
So that's the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah.
Been a bit of a mishmash, hasn't it?
Yeah. We're not turning into a cooking channel, but we haven't really done anything over the last couple of weeks. As people who actually personally know us and our family know, it's just one of them things. So we will get this lot finished in the next video.
Yes.
We're going to sit out and enjoy the sun.
Absolutely.
And
thank you to everybody who, when I put out last week that we weren't having a video, who checked up on us. It's so sweet. Thank you very much.
yes,
Really appreciate that. So as ever, guys, comments below, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, share with all your friends because it helps us out, and we will catch you on the next one.
Aye.
Bye for now.
Toodly pop.